Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Tuesday. It's Pro Wrestling Weekly. And boy, oh boy, have we got plenty to go through tonight. That is for sure. We are going to be talking Raw. We are going to be talking Pipe Bomb 2.0. We are going to be talking Pat McAfee. We are going to be talking TKO. We are going to be talking about the new matches added to WrestleMania to the card. We're going to be talking, what else we got in here? We got the Road Dogg talking about Chelsea Green. We got Matt Hardy talking about the influence that a lot of matches have had on him. But the big question tonight we're going to be talking about is Undertaker's streak. Of course, the anniversary yesterday. You've seen all the fabulous shorts that the boys laid on the channel there, doing stellar work. We are going to be talking about the streak, how we felt about it. Should it have been broken? Should it have not been broken? Who should have broke it? Who shouldn't have broke it? Whatever it is, we'll have a big chat about it. And then we're going to round it out with a little tip the hat to one of my all-time favourites, of course, sitting behind me there up on the shelf. Sorry, on this side, actually. The Ultimate Warrior, of course, his anniversary is tomorrow, so we're not live for it. So we will round out and talk about the passing of the Ultimate Warrior to finish out the show. Plus, we have a nice mix of history there and some, I would say, just let me check. I think I have some... dare I say, some interesting, notable birthdays, but I don't have a whole lot, and a kind of a strange mix this week. So there you go. Funny enough, when I checked it Tuesday today, apparently, from where I looked anyway, no wrestler celebrates his birthday today of any note. So there you go. So there was no one penned in for today. So there you go. And maybe I'm wrong, and someone in the chat will come in and say Joe Schmo from back in the 1960s who wrestled against whoever is his birthday today. But there you go. Welcome to the panel. Assembled as always. Bren's in, Sean O's in, Keith is in back from his hiatus, and Sean Mack, of course, is in as well. We're going to have a bit of crack tonight. We're going to enjoy it, and we're going to go through everything. So make sure in the chat, folks, light it up. Make sure you're lighting up those likes. Of course, subscribe and hit the bell notification button as always. Sharon's in the chat. Hello, guys. Good to see you. My main man, my brother from another mother, Baz, is in there as well. What's the crack? And we have Acers in as well. Absolutely ridiculous that Triple H is booked for Backlash main event. Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. I like that McAfee. That's pretty good. Interesting to see what fee he would have charged TKO. I do like that. We have an extra person on the chat tonight. I am with Pauline. One of my residents is listening with me. Pauline, big shout out to Pauline. How are you, Pauline? Good to have you on board as well. Folks, where do we want to get in? Bren. Raw. Talk to me.
Raw. Oh my God. I wish I was in the Raw motel this week, because that's how good it was. When
Sorry, you might be in a motel this week in the Raw. That's the rumor. Just saying.
Jesus. When CM Punk does crisscross applesauce, you know what's going to go down, and that's exactly what he did. It went down. What a promo! I think it went down for 15 minutes. I reckon that over the next year there will not be a better promo than that. He brought up everything. Notably, on social media, they edited out the bit where he challenged the ticket prices. They edited that out on social media, notably, which is weird. I'm not buying for a second, by the way, that this was always the plan. I'm not buying that. I think this was a massive reaction to the negative reaction. We'll never know. We'll never know either way. But I'm not buying for a second that they said, right, we'll have Pat McAfee come out and we'll do that. The fans will be pissed and CM Punk will fix it on Monday. Not a chance. This is an absolute panic reaction. Ridiculous. Finn Balor, that promo. Finn Balor, that promo. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. When he got attacked, I was like, "What's going on here? Something's gonna happen." And then all of a sudden, what you see that promo, and then bam, there you go. We're gonna get the Demon. I cannot wait for this. The way it ended, and his eye just kind of folded over. We're gonna talk about the loaf tonight. When Stephanie Vacour carelessly jumped and smashed Liv's face. Oh, you seen her head. We've seen her head, but we haven't. Absolutely like horrendous. I was surprised to see a win by Bailey. Bailey seems very unhappy at the moment. I actually think Bailey's on the way out. I still stand by that. She's on the way out. The Gunther and Seth Rollins thing still makes no sense. It doesn't. I love what Gunther said. He left us hanging and he said, "Listen, Paul, this has nothing to do with you. You owe me big. However, this is something a bit more personal that I don't even think he's going to even think of. I don't know what that is. Have they? Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So Keith Siri knows what that is, and the WWE creative team probably haven't even written it yet. Are you winding me up?
No, it's just a
We'll
hunch.
get. All right. Well, we'll get to you in a minute. All right. This is the friend time. All right. You better stop it. Yeah. Listen, that's my gimmick. Big shout out to the 6-man Penta. Like everybody knows, I'm not a massive Rey Mysterio guy. I respect what he did, but isn't it cool? The excitement in Penta when Rey Mysterio gets added to the ladder match. You can see it. Let's make history, and I was like, "Yeah, lads, let's make history. It's got to be bleeding deadly."
Well, I suppose we have to remember in the lucha world, Rey Mysterio is an absolute icon.
He's the king. He's the absolute king. And look, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, that kind of stood out. I like the way there was no attacking, there was no nothing. It was just a bit of a conversation, and it was straight to the point. It kind of stood out. And I won't take up too much time. I'll go straight to the end here, where Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Listen, I'm going to say this now, and I'm raging Dave's not here. And now, Dave, I'm not calling you out in another week when you're not here. I'm just raging that he's not here because
he'll be back next week, Brian. Don't worry.
I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I'll invite him to the SmackDown show. It's pre-recorded this week. It's not piped in. It's just not piped in. I don't care if your name is Johnny Sony Phillips, high tech.
I thought you were talking about the SmackDown show. I thought you were saying the SmackDown show wasn't piped in. Oh, come on, go ahead. Go on.
No, right? I'm talking about Obafemi coming out. This is not piped. This is legit. It's incredible what they did here. A contract wasn't signed. It doesn't matter. This is deadly. And let's face it, I'm excited about this, as is everybody else excited about it. Overall, look, again, I won't spend too much time on it. I will say one more thing. What's the story with names like I Show Speed? I don't understand it. Maybe I'm out of date. Maybe it's because my year of birth begins with 19. I Show Speed. Just give us your real name. However, that was a cool little leap that he did over LA Knight on the thing. I thought that was deadly. Somebody captured it in a picture and it was class. And that whole thing is pretty cool as well. But we knew that 6-man was coming. But all in all, Raw was bleeding deadly. And to cap it all off, not a bleeding sign of a Bella. Not one bell end anywhere. It was just all decent wrestlers. Hurrah! Phenomenal. Who? I only said that because your hair shot out. But look, Niall, to round it off, I enjoyed Raw from the start, the middle to the end. It was so good. And SmackDown, and I'm sorry, this is the last thing that I'll say. SmackDown needs to be as good on Saturday. We can't keep on this roller coaster ride of up and down, and then basically people saying, well, this is the TKO plan. It's not the TKO plan. SmackDown needs to bite back because CM Punk said it himself. Pat McAfee, there's a receipt waiting for you and I'm going to punch your face in. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But
why do you say it's not the TKO plan?
Because I don't think it is. I think TKO have inserted themselves, and I think when they have inserted themselves, that reaction was terrible. They got absolutely trashed on, and it wasn't hook, line, and sinker. They're not geniuses. These TV executives, they're good with money. WWE is an ATM. Cool, no problem. But if it's an ATM and you're passionate about the product and you can do something,
but we know they're not good with money. They're $5 billion in the hole, so we know they're not good with money.
Right. Well, look, I'm not a businessman, all right.
But see, the reason I'm asking you is because a lot of times in WWE, when it got a little bit stale and got a little bit it wasn't hitting its straps, you'd roll out the Authority or you'd roll out Vince onto the screen or you'd roll out. But TKO obviously don't have that guy there. It's not like they can roll Hunter out because he can't really do a whole lot, really. You know what I mean? So why do you think this wasn't contrived by TKO? I mean, in the last 2 weeks, they've non-stop been mentioning the old man again. Could that potentially lead to something? Who knows? Or could it be a case where they talk about, Orton mentioned about the royal family. Could it be a case that Pat McAfee was just a pawn in a chess game and that royal family could be potentially The Rock, who comes in to be that Vince McMahon representative of TKO? And we know that it's genuine heat because we've seen all the shit The Rock's been getting for the last year since the Unreal stuff and all that kind of stuff. We also know that The Rock owes us one from Vegas last year, and we're just about to head into Vegas. We know that Cena's gone in there as the host and stuff like that. The thing about it is, and I would say about this when we say we don't think this was planned, this was just inserting themselves. Well, first of all, if you own a business, you're not inserting yourself. You're entitled to do whatever you want. It's your business. But the flip side of that as well is, I think a lot of this was very much... Now, I'm not saying it wasn't a reaction to the fans over the last few weeks and the ticket prices and all that kind of stuff. But what I would say is, if McAfee hadn't showed up and there wasn't an issue with the ticket prices, we would have had quite a very empty pipe bomb 2.0, which leads me to believe that they have a greater understanding than we do because they can survey the whole environment, not like us. We're, as a fan base, just gone real reactionary now. Pat McAfee, you bastards. This, that, and the other and all, you know what I mean? But yet we don't get the bigger picture. And I think by putting Pat McAfee in there, I think what it's done is, I think it's like a little bit of a swerve. And I think it's a swerve for something bigger coming. That's what I think. I don't think Pat McAfee, he doesn't fit the royalty thing or any of that kind of thing, which means I believe that's just a smokescreen for what's coming. That's my general opinion on it. And that's why I wasn't too upset on Friday. And on the SmackDown show, I wasn't too upset because there's always, this company has been around for so many years now. There's always a bigger picture. There's always an option and there's always a plan. And by God, they love working the fan base. And I said it today in our thread as well. When they have you on the emotional string, on the puppet string, on a thing of emotions, that's where they love to have you. Let's be honest. If TKO announces this week that the tickets are 50 or 60% off, everyone will be backplatting. Just think about it. Just think about how quickly they can turn things around. Think about the Mania landscape and what it was like 6-8 weeks ago. We barely had a card.
Absolutely.
Now we're staring into the barrel of probably one of the strongest Mania cards ever. And I don't say that lightly. Ever. You know what I mean? So they have a way of doing these things and stuff. And I really do believe that a lot of this is contrived in a certain way. And I do believe they have a greater plan. And I do believe the likes of Triple H, and we know it at the moment from his reactions on pressers and post-pressers and all, they love working the fan base. They love triggering us. And the problem with us now is we've become so reactionary to every single thing that happens. We don't step back from it at times and go, well, we know Pat McAfee is not really the guy. You're taking the piss out of us here. It's a smokescreen. And we know something bigger is coming. And that's what I believe. Now, if it doesn't, then that's fine. That's the way it is. Yeah. But I don't believe it for a minute. And listen, I wasn't that upset by it anyway. I mean, you're not talking about them injecting someone that's some random hip hop guy from out of nowhere or something like that. You know what I mean? They've injected a guy in who's probably earned his straps. He was involved in Mania 38 with Vince and with Stone Cold and everything else and all. He literally put an extra 2 to 3 years on Shinsuke Nakamura's career on TV from the entrance. So like this guy. You know, the way people were talking about this guy is like as if we never heard about him and he'd no right to be there. Like, he's outstanding on commentary and everything else.
I made that very clear. I love Pat McAfee. And look, I think, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. Because as it stands now, like when Pat McAfee came out, and I was so surprised with how you reacted. For anybody that doesn't know, it's probably obvious. We have a WhatsApp chat. I was so surprised with how you reacted, and you were calm and cool, and you're saying exactly what you've been saying, and I hope that that's true. For now, I'm just, ever since John Cena retirement, AJ Styles retirement, a box reveal, the Pat McAfee reveal, all that stuff, at the moment, I'm in a bit of a fragile state when it comes to trusting the WWE. And that's just where I am with that. But look, be that as it may, if you're correct, bleeding deadly. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. And as I say every week, I love nothing more than saying, you know what, I was wrong, and that was bleeding phenomenal. All right, Dan.
I said it to you in the chat as well. Like when Danhausen came out of the crate, everyone went, "Fucking hell, man! What's the story here?" Like, doesn't look too bad now, does it? but it doesn't look too bad now.
Because
And
we forgot.
this guy hasn't even locked up on anyone yet. This guy's just going around having his best life at the moment. He hasn't even put a headlock on anyone. You know
He was
what I mean?
part of a hot tag at SmackDown, and it was one of the best parts of SmackDown last week.
Absolutely.
Like, honestly,
absolutely.
I was just like,
which I also said, and I said on your show as well, I didn't think it was the worst SmackDown we've ever seen. I think people got triggered by Pat McAfee and they checked out on the show. But if you go back and you rewatch SmackDown, started from after the Pat McAfee situation, and you'll probably enjoy SmackDown from last week as well. It's crazy.
I know, but I think you're spot on. I think wrestling fans, including myself, very reactory. But it's how we've been trained. It's the product that we've had over the years. It's changed and it's
But
evolved.
it's mad to think, shouldn't we know better from our history? We should know better, shouldn't we?
100% we should know better. Yeah. You've just said something now and I'm like, Jesus, he's right. Anyway, sorry.
Sean O, Raw.
I thought this was a brilliant Raw, actually. And I know I don't say that too often. It had its moments. I feel like, obviously, you know, the past few weeks now that we're getting more of a Mania card and we know what we're getting now, and kind of storylines are not coming to an end, but definitely shaping up. I feel like we're starting to see it's 50-50. We have our stronger matches and we have a lot weaker matches. And I feel like having Jade, Meechin and B-Fab appear on Raw last night still did absolutely nothing for that match. I get what they were trying to do, attacking Io. I just don't think it made people care anymore than they already did. That's just my opinion, but that's definitely what it looked like from the fan side. And holy crap, CM Punk's promo was insane. I think we can all agree with that. And I don't care what other people say. I don't think WWE even expected it. Like, I've seen a lot of rumors going around today that it was completely off script, and I would well believe it. And I'd say when he went backstage that, you know, nobody said that, and nobody really could say anything because they're right. He's right. Sorry, they're paying him a lot of money, so you know it's kind of that status in WWE. I'm here. I get paid this much. Maybe I can say whatever I want, and you just can't do a damn thing about it. And I kind of like that attitude in a way. I thought the promo was fantastic, and dare I say, probably one of the best CM Punk promos we've ever got, besides his original pipe bomb. Rey Mysterio returning, I thought was brilliant. I'm a big Rey Mysterio fan, so I am very happy. And I think it's fantastic to see so many luchadors in a WrestleMania match, and just the representation in general. And I have no doubt that match would be phenomenal. And Brian, you said it with Becky and AJ. I love the way there was no fight. It was just a sit down conversation, and still that little bit of tension in it, which I absolutely love. And I think last night actually got me more excited than I was for the match next week. Can't wait to see the Demon Finn Balor back. 100%.
That entrance is going to be sensational at Mania, isn't it?
Yeah.
His one, what was it, at Mania 39? He last brought out the Demon. WrestleMania Hollywood.
So, yeah.
Even that entrance was class. So I can only imagine what he's going to do now.
I wonder would he go full zip line like Sting or Michaels or something like that? Imagine something like that. It'd be insane, wouldn't it? That'd be insane. Yeah.
2026 is the year of Balor. I'm calling it here. I called it in the chat earlier. This is the year of Balor. We're getting him as world champion. I want him as world champion so bad. What else we got? Yeah, look, Gunther and Seth Rollins, I don't really care about. I don't think anyone does. That's not to say it won't be a good match, but at the moment, my interest levels for that match are very, very low.
Where'd you see that one going, Sean, after it? Like, do you see Gunther going into the Vision? Do you see Braun Breaker getting involved? Like, because you haven't been on a couple of shows with us and we've been talking about these things. Like, would you be interested in it if you felt that could be the direction it's going?
To be honest, I don't really see it going anywhere. And I've thought about this, but you're not going to put Seth Rollins back in the Vision. And I can't exactly see Gunther, of all people, being put in the Vision. That's not to say WWE couldn't be open to the idea or won't do it, because we know WWE and they're full of surprises. I feel like just kind of have Gunther go the way he is going and go on an absolute tear. I feel like that's the only way to go about it with him. Kind of like his Intercontinental run, I suppose. Just go on an absolute tear.
Sean, I actually think that them two are potentially going to be match of whatever night they're on. They had a small interaction on Raw, and even when the 2 or 3 different things that they did, I was just like, holy shoot, they did like there was something special about and it was like less than 10 seconds, and it just hit me then. It's like, we could be looking at one of the matches of WrestleMania. I get what you're saying, and I'm on board with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm so excited about the wrestling match in itself, because I think these 2 lads are gonna put on a barn burner. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose now
Looks like
that
you're
I
looking up
think
at
of
me.
it, friend. I suppose now that I think of it, after seeing the clips of last night and watching the show, I do see what you're talking about. There is actually a chemistry between the 2 of them, and quite a good chemistry at that. So look, I'm open. That's not to say, the match won't be great. I'll watch it. That's not to say I won't watch it, But look, I don't really see it going anywhere after that. But just like you, I'm open to be proven wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And then, believe it or not, I'm not an iShow Speed fan. I like other streamers. I'm just not an iShow Speed fan. But I will admit, the past week or 2, my eyes have been opened a little bit, and I'm kind of seeing, he is actually quite talented. So, look, I'm open to seeing the Mania match, and I actually think it could be a great match. So, yeah.
I thought that invasion on the stream and putting them through the camera was just insane.
Yeah.
I just thought it was brilliant, you know what I mean? And listen, this there's no doubt this guy will get into the ring, and he will put on, as he says, I show speed by name, I show speed by nature. I think he's going to come out of this looking really, really strong, and I think we might see more of this. I loved it the way LA Knight just rocked up into that stream and stuff like that. The way they did it, it reminded me of the old days, where Hunter would show up at Orton's house or whatever it was and all, and that kind of stuff. It was just so, out of left field and stuff like that. And the way he even sold as well, he just grabbed him and literally put him straight through the screen was absolutely phenomenal. I just thought it was brilliant. So I'm not too upset about it. I know the reason they bring them in. I know, Bren, you don't know a lot of this stuff at times, these guys and stuff, but these guys have unbelievable following out there. I looked at your man, I Show Speed. I think he has more subscribers and followers nearly than WWE. This guy is gigantic out there, man. This guy moves in Ronaldo circles and all. This guy is huge, monstrous. You know what I mean? What do we think on the comment on the ladder match there before we get to Keith and Sean's thoughts? I think the spots in this match are going to be JD McDonough. I think he is probably one of the best sellers in the company at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think he is the guy who's going to really put on a show at this Mania. He's going to be out there, and it's just going to be absolutely phenomenal.
I think Javon Evans will be one of them as well. He'll have a few good spots. Yeah,
I think so, but I think with the way Javon Evans might be the guy delivering to him, but JD will certainly be the guy taking them, that's for sure. Yeah. And I think it's just going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, Penta as well. I mean, this match is going to be... I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like TL. Do you remember when you were first time seeing TLC and you were just like, and I think these guys have the potential to do that. I think you're spot on with JD McDonough, and I think this is JD McDonough's time to shine, and he's absolutely going to do that. So, and I'm so enthusiastic about his future.
Yeah, Acers is on the Niall Hogan Braun Breaker train, that's for sure. Big up, Layla. Hope you're good. Poor Speed, yeah, absolutely. He got launched. It was unbelievable, so good. Keith, Raw, give us a few pointers if you want. Doesn't have to be line by line. Let us know what you thought, what you liked.
No, I thought Raw was good this week, actually, like the lads were saying. I do think we're going to get The Rock at WrestleMania. I really do think that. I think he's going to show up for night 2, and then he'd probably do a year build-up with Roman Reigns or something, like he did with John Cena all those years ago. I think we'll get something like that. But it wouldn't surprise me with WWE, to be honest with you. Yeah, even though I'm not a big fan of show speed himself, he's done well so far. I'll give it to him. And that little launch that he did was hilarious. I did laugh over that. Like it could be a decent 6-man match. You know, it's a night one. It's on, isn't it? I think it's night one. The
Yeah.
match is on. So it's going to be good, I think. Yeah, like it's hard to get invested in Gunther and Seth Rollins since it's a last minute switch. You know, but saying that, guys, it's probably going to be a really good match. I think it might be a show stealer. Who knows? For
What's your
Mania,
theory?
who's going to win it?
No, what's your theory? What's Gunter's issue? You said you had your own theory.
Oh yeah. When I was backstage when he said that you owe me one, I think it's going to lead to him and Lesnar, and then retiring him.
Oh, okay, that's clever. Okay, that's clever. But I'm looking to see what his personal issue is with. But yeah, you could be right on that. Yeah, pretty good.
Because when he owes him, and it's just when he said like he owes him one, I was thinking then it's Lesnar. It has to be Lesnar then to start it all off. I was talking to Niall about this today, and I think we're kind of in agreement. It was a bit of a weird one to put Rey Mysterio into this ladder match after that big injury he had. You know, I'm surprised they put him in. But in saying that, you know, I think he'll do a good job. Looking forward to that ladder match. The other match as well with Los Americanos and Pentagon was a good match. To be honest with you guys, I can't really get into this storyline with AJ Lee and Becky. I don't know what it is. And I like the two girls. I really do. It's just something about it. I can't get it in. Maybe they'll have a good match in Mania. I'm hoping they do. I love the main event, I have to say, for Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. It was done very well, brilliantly. They've been doing a great job over the last few weeks with that. It'd be interesting to see what they do next week with the Go Home show. Maybe have a few packages or something like that instead of doing anything with them, just to keep the intensity away from each other. I don't really care about Rhea and Jade, to be quite honest with you. I've no interest in this. Look, and I love Rhea. I love her to bits. She's great. She's probably the best female wrestler in the company. But the build-up for her has just been horrendous. Overall, guys, I've enjoyed Raw. It's a great Raw this week.
Do you think Dominic takes out Ray and then adds himself into the ladder match? Do you think it's going to be a bait and switch? Because he did say in the clubhouse, he says, "Don't worry, I know how to take care of this." Is there going to be a bait and switch? Is he fully, like you said, coming back from an injury like that? Is the ladder match the smartest move? So what do? Your son takes you out, then you start Rey Mysterio's retirement storyline. I don't know. I leave it.
What happens? What happens with the Damon match then? They're both on the same night.
Great shout. Yeah, checkmate. Well, that's that theory out the window.
Well, no, I'm asking the question, like, where I presume you look at where were you going with it. You know what I mean? Because, like, anyone who comes out of that ladder match is going to be absolute carnage. They'll barely be able to walk for a week, I'd imagine. And I don't think you're going to rock up then and have the Demon come down then, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
and the fact that JD is in there as well, does it make sense to insert another person in there from the Judgment Day? I'm not too sure.
Will they be careful with Ray though in that ladder match?
Of course they will. They're not going to aim for him.
See, the issue will, they'll go in and they'll wrestle the match the same way they always do. It's up to Ray to take care of himself, not everyone else. Everyone else has to do their thing. They can't be fannying around that way, not in a ladder match, because there's so much on the line and the spots are normally huge. Don't be surprised. These are going to pull out the big ladders as well as the small ones and all. Those bumps are going to be insane. And Ray's gotten inserted there, so he obviously believes he'll be able to go. Otherwise, I don't think he'd put himself in there. I think if it's potentially his last WrestleMania, I don't think he's going to want to stink out the joint. I wouldn't have thought.
Are you surprised we didn't get Ray and Gunther since they've been banging on about that for the last couple of weeks? I think it was the last.
No, because I think Bren's point is very valid. I think they might eventually want to start steering clear of this career killer thing. I think that might just dissolve away eventually, because I think it's too, as Brad said on a couple of shows, it's very pigeonholed. And what happens when you start running out of people that actually want to retire? And we're kind of getting close to that point. You know what I mean? So, like, it was like Randy with the Legend Killer thing. He ran out of our lads to fucking RKO, didn't he? So, like, it just goes away then, you know what I mean? That's the reality of it. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's something big planned for Rollins and Gunther, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it, as I said. But I think you might get Breaker in there, and I don't be surprised if Gunther ends up in division or something like that. To me, makes perfect sense. Sean Mack.
Yeah, pretty good episode of Raw. It's hard to pick a point to start off, apart from the Punk pipe bomb. Absolutely brilliant. Loved how he called out TKO, and apparently I read a report from bodyslam.net today saying that WWE and TKO are very aware of the chatter online about ticket prices, and apparently some superstars
How could
possibly
they not be?
yeah.
If they even just watch our podcast, they should know. Fucking 10 grand pasta classes,
Yeah.
9.5 grand fucking bus trips. Like what? Like, just watch our podcast to see the feeling, man.
Sure.
Do you concur, Sean? Sean, do you concur with the boys? Do you believe any of this is off script? I don't believe it. I believe this is all to create an environment and a narrative and something they can build on. I don't believe this is off script. He ain't got, and when he rattled that off, that wasn't coming just off the top of his head. He had that down to a T.
No. Well, the thing is, if you talk about the original pipe bomb, he's saying all this stuff like he's going to leave and he's going to go to New Japan and this company will be better after Vince is dead. And the whole point of that is you buy the pay-per-view to see the match with Cena and see if it actually happens. So I think it's a point, right? And unfortunately, him just there to get off in the crowd. My God, I got a standing ovation saying that the crowd probably paid pretty bad ticket price to get there, but it's redundant. Beside the point, I don't know if it will actually affect change. I think he's just destroying Roman Reigns. Every time I think Roman has him in this promo battle, they're here at the minute. But every time Roman is not here for whatever reason, he goes down and Punk goes up. And I don't think he's beaten the part-time allegations when he's not here. Especially now, I presume there's no chance in hell he's not going to be on next week. But this week,
but I think a lot of that though is to feed into these guys and to give these guys material to set the narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's not just not showing up. He's not showing up because he wants to present it that way to arm him with this kind of ammo to go at it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think we get a little bit misled at times that it's not as contrived as it is. I don't think anything in there happens that's unplanned unless it's an injury or a call in a match or something like that has to happen or something that goes wrong. But I think when they're presenting themselves this way, I think they're now creating an environment that's like the Authority, that's like Vince that was on screen, us versus them, and the wrestlers are one of us. Listen, we know what CM Punk is charging for a meet and greet, so he's not holier than thou either with his pipe bomb 2.0 either. You know what I mean? We know what he's causing and what AJ Lee caused, and we know what they cause as well. So this lark about reduce the ticket prices. How about CM Punk? Let me meet you at the World for $50, and we'll say it's all good. Yeah, you're one of us then. So it's
being charged for that, to be honest. But I get your point. But TKO. Gotta go. Apparently, if you need any more proof that these fellas are fucking bananas, apparently Ari Emanuel, as we know, was a big factor in getting Pat McAfee shoehorned in the middle of this Randy Cody feud. Apparently, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but apparently he wants the Pat McAfee show, the podcast that he hosts every day. He wants that to be bought by Netflix, I think. And he wants Pat McAfee to go into movies.
Great
and apparently they envision him to be the next Sylvester Stallone. And I hate to, piss on people's parades. That is not happening, and I don't think this is really the level ground to spring them into that.
Is this the beginning of the storyline, as you said, of TKO maybe gone and the old man coming back in, but the old man's able to come back in a fan appreciative type of way, not in an NDA type of way, if you like. And that things got so bad with TKO, and we got so fleeced that in comes the golden child again to save us from the body, and he takes the company back over again. TKO exit the building, and everything becomes affordable again, and then no one's turning around. And if that's the case, let's be honest, because as a fan base, we can be a little bit fickle at times, you know what I mean? And I just think maybe it's not the case that this is the beginning of TKO and that you're going to get this kind of control battle. We've heard The Rock talking about it with Cena, these boardroom things and stuff like that and all. Is this the beginning of what we see that plays out? And what it does is it gets so bad with us. And let's be honest, the crowd have been cheering for this guy to come back in. They've been looking for Vince to return as well. And like, we know everything that's going on, and we know the court case and all the stuff and how it looked and what's happened and all that kind of stuff. And we know he hasn't been allegedly the nicest guy in the world at times and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't think they're mentioning the old man as much as they're mentioning the old man these days, unless there's something going on there.
Yeah. Well, I
There
think
has to be.
the
That
court
would be
case
one
has-
serious
has-
gamble, because if he's found guilty,
They're fucked.
like, that's a serious gamble.
Well, even
But
that,
it's not going to happen at WrestleMania. I'm just beginning at the sown seeds and roots at the moment, because we know even if Vince wanted to come back in and buy it, that's going to take at least 6 months of due diligence and everything else to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Maybe it happens next year because of Saudi or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. But I don't think TKO are sitting back here letting their employees go out and lambaste them on live TV. Remember, these guys are quoted on the stock exchange and everything else. You know, they're a share company and all that kind of stuff. They're just not going to let that happen. So I think all of this is very much contrived to create a climate where shifts can change and things can happen. And maybe that's the way it goes. I don't believe Cody came out the other day, absolutely buried them. Punk came out yesterday, absolutely buried them, Vince, Roman. He buried anyone he could potentially mention. You know what I mean, at this stage. And I just think, I don't believe for a minute that's off script. I just don't believe it. Like, I know everyone is saying, oh, they sent Cody back out to challenge this and challenge that because they weren't happy with McAfee. Come on. They don't just turn around and go, you know, kid.
That was conveniently leaked very quickly.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
saying,
Which says to me, this is all the plan.
however,
you know what I mean?
we will know on the 20th of April. We'll know on April 20th after Monday Night Raw. That's when we'll know. That's what I think.
Certainly interesting. Go ahead, Sean.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, Punk, pipe on, great. TKO, get him out. Vince, keep him out. Austin Theory, LA Knight, whatever. And the thing is, right? I Show Speed is a celebrity. I don't think people would lose sleep if this match wasn't happening. But I Show Speed, as you mentioned, now is absurdly popular. I would have to check that statistic, but you said he has more followers than WPE, which is
it's insane.
Yeah,
he gets like something in the region of anywhere between 5 and like 15 million views on his content.
Yeah,
like,
he's
views, like, you know.
Yeah. The other thing is, and I don't watch him because I'm over the age of 3, but he did a series called Speed Tries. So he tries something like a thing, and it'd be a different one every episode. But he did wrestling, and he trained with Randy Orton and Fit Finlay, and he actually grafted, and he had a match in NXT against some tomato can you've never heard of. I don't know.
I think he was surprised, Sean, to be honest with you.
But he worked, and the thing is, he's willing to take bumps. He's willing to eat shit. And him being in a 6-man tag match that's going to be a bit of fun, you know, on a fun show of the year, is not the same as, you know, Jelly Roll. Think of Randy Orton and Cody as a lift, right? Jelly Roll is the giant elephant stuck in the lift. What do you call the elephant in a lift? Stuck. No business being there. It's clogging up time. It seems they haven't learned their lesson from Travis Scott. I don't feel the same about Lil Yachty. I don't feel the same about I Show Speed. I think he's going to have fun. And besides, he's really annoying, right? He screams and he barks and he pulls these stupid faces. So the fact that he's going to get smashed up by like LA Knight and all these people is going to be fun. That's not hurting anyone. That's not taking up. That's not wasting anyone's time. It's a fun match for Mania, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And I was looking forward to Finn and JD. I think that would have been a great match. And I know it was the third of the angle, and we got the great promo later and whatever. But yeah, it was disappointing. Hope we can get that match at another point. Becky and AJ was good. I've not been big on their in-ring promos at all. I just think they've really lacked chemistry. I think this was better, but I still think they said nothing I haven't heard before. Bailey beating Lash Legend was okay. Seth Van stomped Gunther. You know, Seth said his 2 goals was to win the World Heavyweight Championship that he never lost, and to destroy the division.
Yeah.
As great as that match with Gunther is going to be, and I think Gunther's an absolutely perfect pro wrestler, I don't think beating him will help him achieve either of those goals. Potentially the world title, absolutely not the vision, unless Gunther made some sort of plan with Paul Heyman. And you know, Paul Heyman says he owes him one, and then that ends up being the Brock retirement. I don't know. Penta Javon Evans Dragon Lee against Los Americanos was good. That ladder match is absolutely stacked. Unfortunately, it will be a shit-eating showcase for Jordan Devlin. He is going to take the worst bumps you've ever seen in your life, and he's going to do it with a smile. And I think that's okay, and it's great that he's getting that showcase. Ray being in there is the cherry on the top, as Sean O very eloquently put. The fact that there's a lot of Lucha Libre representation. So there's 6 people in that match, 3 of them are luchadors, is really cool. And like them with ladders is just, my God, it's going to be amazing. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, same with Keith. I like Rhea. I really haven't been sold on Jade. I think she's competent, but I don't think she's championship worthy. I don't think she's WrestleMania match worthy. And as good as Rhea is, I don't see her as like Ric Flair, where you could give Ric Flair a dustpan and brush and go 3-2-1 go, and he could work it and get a great match out of it. I don't know if Rhea Ripley's the kind of person that would carry, maybe not someone as inexperienced as Jade, 'cause she's been doing it a while, but someone who's not very good as Jade. I think it'll be a bit of a blip on the card. And then Obafemi and Brock. Bad news. They did everything in this apart from sign the contract.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, the match isn't happening. That's in the air, and that's a really important match. So I hope it doesn't get. Can I interrupt you guys for a second? Can you all wish Layla a happy birthday? She's 14. No way. Well,
Happy birthday, Layla. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Layla.
Light up the chat, folks. Light up the chat with birthday cakes and all the rest of it. All that good stuff for Layla.
Well, Layla, hope you have a great birthday. But Obafemi and Brock was a really good way to end the show. To be honest, I think it peaked at the pipe bomb, but I thought everything else was good. And on this end of Raw, I'm a little excited for WrestleMania now that it's getting so close. Like, we're forgetting it's the week after next, I believe. Or is it next week?
It's a week and a half or something, is it?
Week and a half, yes.
It's
It is looming.
It's
around the corner.
Saturday week. Saturday week.
Yeah, Saturday week.
Yeah, I think you touched on there Becky and AJ Lee. I don't know, is AJ Lee, does she come across as being that wholesome, lovely girl who just can't get down into the trenches with Becky and deliver that kind of cutting, nasty, badass promo that you believe is real and come for? Like, well, you know when Becky loses her shit and she's on a tear, you can tell that's Becky, that she could, like, you know, if Rollins got up and didn't cut the grass, you could see her out the door to him like that. You know what I mean? Whereas if you look at AJ Lee, she just comes across as a lovely, wholesome, just nice, kind human being. So when she tries to get down in the trenches with Becky on the shit talk, it's very difficult for her to, it's very difficult for her to do, because you look at her and you're going, you're the sweetheart girl from next door. You're not this girl who goes full ghetto. It's not in you. You know what I mean? It's not in you. And that's how I kind of feel about this kind of a little bit disjointment in this and stuff. You know what I mean? So there's no doubt she can go in the ring and be a badass, but I don't think she can deliver a badass character 100%. She can wrestle, she can do her thing, but I don't know whether her mic and her promos back it up. And I think that's where this has gone. Like, when you see Becky just having a meltdown and the biceps are clenched, you can see everything's going. And, like, that's a very comfortable place for her, because I've seen Becky for years wrestling, even here, even when she was only beginning and stuff like that. And, like, being an asshole, she was so natural doing it. You know what I mean? Even back then, even when she did the stuff when she was wrestling in, I don't know, was it Stardom back then, or what was the name of the women's one? I think whatever it was called anyway. Remember when she used to have the hair cut short and everything and all? Like, she just being an asshole was so... And look, Becky's just the most beautiful sweetheart as well behind all that. You know what I mean? But she has a way where she can switch and turn it up. You know, like kind of... You know that friend you go out on the drink with and they should never drink? They go Jekyll and Hyde. And you go, just stick to 2 drinks tonight. We don't need you going out getting us arrested. And some people just have that switch in them as well in terms of wrestling stuff like that, and it's really, really, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like she can go and she can wrestle, but I just think
Well, no,
she just.
she done a good job before she left 10 years ago when she was a heel and think she was facing Paige.
Well, she was the best part of the Divas division, and I hate saying the Divas.
Yeah,
division.
but you know the way we talk sometimes. If you're away from the business for that period of time, the business becomes a very different thing. There's a different spotlight on it. There's a different microscope on it. Everyone analyzes every fucking full stop that you drop, and I just think you know. Oh, 100%. And it's everywhere on social media and everyone has an opinion, stuff like that. But I don't know. When I see her, even last week when I seen her trying to deliver that promo against Becky and Becky was in full pelt, she came across as if she was very uncomfortable in where she had to go in the promo. That's how I felt about it. And that's why I think at times she does that little pause and then she comes back in and she does that little pause. I'm that sweetheart from next door kind of thing. But I'm gonna kick your ass, and you're there going, no, you're not. You're too nice. You're too nice. You're not. You're not that person. You're the one who goes out there. You're an advocate for challenging all this mental health and all this kind of stuff. You're too nice a person. It's like we never really believed John Cena as a heel, did we? We really didn't, because we know he's that wholesome kind of guy. He's the Make-A-Wish guy. He does all this kind of stuff. So you're looking at him, you're going, now. We did for a while look at it and go, yeah, you actually are achieving this ruining of fucking wrestling, that's for sure. But you know what I mean? It's just, It's just there's some guys in there that just maybe they can't do both, or they're not able to do both, or maybe they shouldn't do both. And I think sometimes when you get into a storyline like that, to try and generate the interest in it, which what I'm saying is, it's such a stacked WrestleMania. Like, you're going to have to be so good at this WrestleMania for anything to stand out, because top to bottom, this is absolutely insane. Insane as a WrestleMania. So I don't know. I just think they're all kind of vying to get eyes on their match. But like, we've got whatever it is, 13, 14 matches, whatever it is now. Like, think about it logically, right? Io Sky, I know, Keith, you said something into the group. It looks like we're going to get Asuka or Kabuki Warriors, whatever way we're going to get it. You look at Io Sky. Io Sky last year probably had one of the best years for a female wrestler. Arguably had match of the night at WrestleMania over both nights. The three-way was sensational, and retained the belt and was unbelievable. This year so far, she hasn't even got a match, and we're just over a week out. The drop off, and this is what I was talking to you earlier today about. Look at King Kong Bundy, main event in WrestleMania 2. And WrestleMania 3, he's in the mid card squashing little people. You know what I mean? So like, the drop off can be sensational. That's why I don't get too hyped up about guys like Obafemi, because we don't know what's around the corner, and this is what happens. So there you go. That's my piece. Right, let's move on from it anyway. I think solid Raw. I think we're happy enough, but I think there's a lot more to come from it.
Just before we do, very quickly, Niall. You're dead right. 50 on you. I Show Speed, or I don't even think that's his real name. YouTube, 52.1 million followers, 47 million on Instagram, 3.5 million on Twitch, and on the TikTok machine, 50.7 million. Mad. Insanity.
Yeah, listen, Ripshot, I'm not advocating for it, but like, you don't talk about this guy this amount on the show if you haven't got something going on or something's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not advocating bringing him back. I'm telling you now, there's a wave in the crowd at the moment that are wishing he comes back, even around all the context of everything else. I'm not disagreeing with that, and you say I'm passing comment on what I see happening out there. I don't think anyone on here, if Vince comes back, the only thing we'd be cheerleading is ticket prices, because we got the shows. That's about it. You know what I mean? Big up, loud.
Can I just say before we move on, like, there's a difference. No, there's not. Yeah,
there's a massive difference.
The Bellas are better.
Jump through that screen now. They're not better. Not even. Sorry, go on.
Do it, pussy. Have any of you noticed in the past week or two the way all the little rumors of Tiffany Stratton versus Jillia for the US title have just flittered away and disappeared, and now all of a sudden we're getting Asuka versus Io? And I know that was rumored a while ago, but like, realistically, as of now, considering we're so close to Mania, it just looks like we're not getting Julia defending the US title at all. I think that's absolute bullcrap, if I'm being honest with you. Because
So before it looks like we're going to get Io Sky versus Asuka, and the plan behind that, what we've read and what we've known for a number of weeks this stage now, is that Kairi Sane turns babyface and costs Asuka the match and goes back with Io Sky, right? So if Julia isn't on the card defending the US belt, and I get it, if you want her on there, what match do you take off? Because let's assume when we've got 7 and 7. So who drops off the card at the moment to insert that match? Who are you taking out?
Whopper question.
No, and I'm putting that out there to everyone, not just Sean. That's going out there to everyone. If we believe Julia should be defending the US belt on the card, who comes off this card? And let me know in the chat as well how you feel about this. Well, is this one of the most stacked WrestleManias coming that we've ever seen? How it plays out and whether it hits the straps, that's a different question. But in terms of what we see on paper at the moment, who do you take off this card to put that match in?
You can't take off a main title match. You cannot take off a main title match. So the women's main championship cannot be taken off. It's a simple
women's IC. That's my opinion.
No,
crazy.
No, it shouldn't. Right. And I'm sorry to go over you, Sean, but the Intercontinental Championship is WWE. US Championship is historically WCW. Now, I know that doesn't matter, but from a historical standpoint, I think the IC should be regarded as more important than the US. It's not always that way, though. So sorry for going over you.
No, I agree with you. But realistically, you look at it, right? Everyone wanted 2 women's mid-card titles, and we knew that we would get 2 women's mid-card titles. And that's exactly what we've got. If you watch the women's show look at Sean Reigns, shut up. If you look back at the women's show the other day, I said the women's Intercontinental title has been defended on every, if not most, PLEs since debuting. But you look back, how many times has the women's US been defended on a PLE since debuting? 0. And that's not including the 1 or 2 Saturday night main events that it was on. It's been defended 0 times. Well, WWE had their opportunity to put it on WrestleMania, have all the women's titles on the line, and it seems like we're not getting that.
Well, Sean, then we might as well bring back the pre-show then, because that's when they used to have the matches on, if everyone wants to go.
But realistically, you're leaving one of your biggest women's stars off the card being
Tiffy's not even on. Tiffy was facing Charlotte last year, and she's not even on the card this year.
Yeah,
that's
well, I actually think the US Championship match is Tiffy against Julia, and I think it either happens on SmackDown or it happens on WrestleMania. But either way, Niall's question is valid. What match do you take off? And even on David's comment, the 6-man. I don't like iShow Speed being part of it, but you know what? He's there, and I now understand why he's part of it. I didn't before the show, to be honest with you, and now I do. So you can't take the 6-man tag.
But you're right, Bren, because think about it. Like 3 weeks ago, we were jumping up and down. Keith raised the point at the time that LA Knight didn't even have a match. So you're not going to take LA Knight and the Usos and the Vision off the card for Julia to defend the US belt. Let's call a spade here. Okay, we mightn't necessarily like iShow Speed or whatever way you feel about it, whatever way. I don't really care for it. I think it's going to work out all right, and I think it's going to be good. But I ain't coughing up that match for a US women's title, and especially at a time where of 14 matches at Mania, I think we're going to end up with nearly 6 women matches. So they haven't done too bad, in fairness.
No,
you know what I mean. They could have literally done a whole night 1 of women's and a whole night 2 of men's. That's huge in my books. That's massive. You know what I mean?
I'm not complaining. I just think it would have been lovely to see the women's US title defended at WrestleMania of all shows. You know?
Sounds like
the other thing as well is we don't want to crowbar it in and it starts diluting down other matches, or they go out there and you just get a 5-minute match where no one really shows what they're about on the grandest stage. And not only that, every match that follows then loses 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it is, and it all gets diluted down. We want 7 matches each night or whatever it is. Absolute quality, everyone getting all the time that they need to show exactly what they're about and stuff like that. And I said it already, if these matches hit their straps, I think we could be talking about this Mania for years to come. I think I really, really do. I think in 10 years' time, if we're still all podcasting, I think we could be talking about WrestleMania 42 being right up there with the best Manias we've watched. If this happens, this card is insane.
Niall, do you have the
Absolutely
full
insane.
match list, do you? And for a slide.
I don't have it in a slide. I only put these 3 in because these are the 3 new ones, obviously, with the change and stuff like that for the Demon and all. But I mean, we looked at it last week, Keith. And next week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling up the full card and we're going to be rating the matches. You decided this, Keith. I think one of you said you wanted to do that. We're going to rate all the WrestleMania matches and what we'll be pulling Mania apart next week on the show. That'll be a huge part of the show, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's going to be. I think this could be absolutely phenomenal. I really do. I mean, you look and then just look at that screen there and look at what we've literally got out of a 2.5-hour Raw show last night. We've got the Demon coming back. We got the 6-man, and we got Ray going into the ladder match. That alone is huge. Like, it's massive.
Yeah.
Like, the Demon coming back is going to be absolutely huge. That entrance is going to be insane because the length of that ramp, and I seen that ramp last year, he ain't crawling down that ramp. That ramp is a lot. Like, you could probably get a decent glider to take off on that ramp, and he ain't crawling down that ramp. So unless they put him on one of those buggy boards that they did with Taker at 20 or something like that, he ain't crawling down that. Could he do a zip line? I don't know. Could we have some sort of thing? Like, remember with Taker and Shawn, they did Heaven and Hell at 25. Could the Demon rise up? Could we get a Demon entrance, kind of like Gangrel and the Brood, coming up from the flames, the Demon or something like that? This could be sensational, lads. Absolutely. Like, and listen, people think I work for WWE the way I sell these things, but I'm so excited about this, to the point I said it to Keith today and all. I'm tempted to get a night one ticket, depending on how the price collapse. But I'm really tempted, and this is going to be. I think this is going to be the makeup for the disappointment of last year. That's right. That's what I really believe. That's what I really believe.
I think you're a fool to think that this WrestleMania card isn't stacked.
Okay.
I thought, do you know what? You should have just stopped there. You should have. I think you're a fool. I thought you were going to go at him. I was like, calm down, Sean, calm down.
But actually, Niall, do you think John Cena would be involved in somehow? Even though he's the host, he's going to get involved somehow.
The only way Cena gets involved for me is if we get something to do with The Rock. If The Rock comes out and contrives some way like the TKO thing with Randy and Cody, and then you get Cena coming out as the host and gets involved, and we potentially go Rock Cena 3 at Saudi. I reckon something they could come up with some sort of a crazy angle where Cena goes to Hunter and goes, I want my career back. Because one, we've said on this program, Cena's not happy with the way he was retired. It's not the way he should go out. The way he should go out is in the middle of a ring at a WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it. And whatever way you want to do it. Getting choked out on a Saturday night's main event to Gunther is not how you end that guy's career. And again, I think him being inserted as the host, him going in as the host is really not going to do a whole lot for ticket prices, really. Him potentially getting involved in an angle and laying down a storyline that's a year in the making could be very, very interesting.
I don't think it'll make Sean Mack happy.
I think they should kind of stray away, and at the end.
Well, it won't be. Well, it won't be. Think about it this way: if they go and they do that, do we get the retirement that we actually wanted? I'm not saying the match is going to be 5-star Meltzer or anything like that, but you could get that Hogan Rock 18 energy in that building, and that could be the way that he goes out, and that could wash away a lot of what we had to eat. The kind of shit that we had to eat last year with the farewell tour. And I think any Cena fan would be happy if that was the case. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not putting it out there. Everyone knows my creative is absolutely insane. But I don't believe for 1 minute that that's how he's gone away. That has to, like, it just can't be. It's horrific. We've all said it's horrific. He knows it's horrific. He got out of the ring and fucked off. He was so disappointed. You know what I mean? So, like, he has to go out. There's certain guys in there. Like, If I turned around to you and I said, Gunther's going to choke out Randy Orton on a Saturday night's main event to end his career, you would think I'm batshit crazy.
Which is why I'm so confused as to why anybody in the back didn't say, hang on. I'd like something to say. That sounds shit. Don't do that. But they didn't. They allowed it to happen. But I suppose they could learn their lesson. I don't necessarily believe that Cena's going to come back, but you're right. I'm a Cena fan, and I'd love to see John Cena in the ring again.
Hey, it took Bruno Sammartino 40 years to walk back into the room. You know what I mean? So, like, anything can happen. And it took the Warrior how many years? You know, and we will talk about the Warrior course. So, look, I wouldn't rule anything out in this wrestling business and circus that we love and stuff like that. Anything can happen. You know what I mean?
I think we should get a Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and TKO feud. The Rock appears at the end of WrestleMania, comes out with a briefcase saying TKO on it, gets in the ring. You've got Cody Rhodes and you got CM Punk. He grabs a ladder, puts it in the ring, and says, "Clam, bitch." Winner gets to keep his job. That's the way it should go.
They should just do the Cena heel turn, but instead of Cena, it's Triple H, and instead of Cody, it's Ari Emanuel. Instead of The Rock, it's CM Punk.
Layla, what I would say about Logan is he's an incredible athlete. He's a very, very good wrestler. And I tell you one thing, his psychology is down, and he brings a huge amount of voice to the product and the company.
Hasn't had a bad match yet. He hasn't had one bad match yet. Not one.
He's not Pat Mustard.
The ramp is that long over Femi to start his entrance on Saturday to arrive to the ring Sunday evening. Did you notice in the entrance now they've abandoned the dance halfway down, and now he does the dance halfway down and then he just walks the rest of the way.
It's going to be a really long entrance now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a whole crowd.
Yeah. I don't know if I am in or not. I'm just thinking aloud. I'm just thinking ways to fix the mess ups from the previous year and stuff like that. And how do they do it? And maybe this is where it starts. Yeah, Layla. Look, you don't have to love anyone to appreciate the talent that they have and stuff like that. You don't have to be a Logan fan. Loads of people aren't Logan fans, but they can see what he does and how important he is. You know.
Mm.
So, yeah, so we kind of spoke about these as well, didn't we? So we could probably.
Well, no, I wanted to touch base quickly with you about the Stephanie things. We said we'll talk about that. Do you think they won't risk him next week for the go home show, the two of them, because of what happened with Liv? Stephanie and Liv. Do you know what happened with Liv there with the concussion protocol?
I don't know. Maybe we don't know. Like we don't even know. Like there was so much hair there. We don't even know how hard they clattered. We heard a noise all right, but listen, people super kick each other and clap their toys and all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? And listen, we know they've got some of the best makeup artists in the world. Just look at Balla there, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? So listen, I don't know if it's legit and stuff like that and all. I seen the pictures up and stuff like that. It looked like it was quite sore and swollen and stuff and all, but there is no risk for me. That match goes ahead. Those two girls will push that match ahead no matter what. Like they're not going to miss out. This is the biggest payday of the year. This is where it all comes together. Like unless you're on a heart machine backstage and you can't go out there, you're going out. You're going out. You know what I mean? No, you need to get into WWE creative. Them matches would be insane with your creativity. Sharon, I'm a lunatic. They'd have me fired. Either the company would go bankrupt or I'd be sacked after a week like Road Dogg. I'd be gone. I'd be too much for them.
Just on what Niall's saying there, Keith. Watch. I banged the drum. Watch Mania of WrestleMania, right? It's a documentary about WrestleMania 19, and Steve Austin was in the hospital the night before. His heart raced. He thought he was having a heart attack. Yeah. Like Niall said, like that even if you're on a heart machine, you're coming out for WrestleMania. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Actually,
here's a fantasy match: Triple H versus Cena 43.
Oh jeez!
I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah, I don't see that happen. Unfortunately,
oh
my God. Yeah.
I'd take Travis Scott before I get that. Honest to God.
Careful what you wish for, Sean. They do. Careful what you wish for, Sean. They do listen.
Somebody clip that. That will be a slap in the face when it does happen.
This was nice to hear from Road Dog, wasn't it? Thanks to No DQ as well for the graphic. But he said she's a workhorse, Chelsea Green. The girl's a national treasure. She is, isn't she? Sean, now you're the women's show on here, and I'll talk to me. Chelsea Green, bigger up here.
Finally, someone with a bit of sense compared to that other Egypt, Michael. Look, I've said it time and time again. I completely disagreed with Hayes that time. So I did. 100%. Chelsea Green is not someone that can pass a title on or is just a stepping stone for anyone else. She's a future world champion. And I feel like it's that type of shit. If WWE don't see it, what is she still doing there?
Tell us this. You've touched on what Michael Hayes said there. Did Michael Hayes kind of, if you take a step back, in a roundabout way, say the same thing, but just get the wording wrong? Because when you say to someone, and when you talk about we talk about JD McDonough, and like when you talk about workhorses and selling and everything else now, JD McDonough stuff like that. But when you talk about Chelsea Green being a workhorse, is that kind of in a roundabout way, kind of saying a similar kind of thing, but just Michael Hayes got the narrative wrong and people picked up on it and stuff like that? I don't think he meant to come across the way he did. I don't think he was trying to devalue her in any way. And you look at what Road Dog said there. She's a national treasure. She is. Everyone loves Chelsea Green. She's amazing. You know what I mean? And she can do so much and all. You know what I mean? But there's no doubt. And like we've spoke about Cody Rhodes at times and how he could go into that mid-card, not as a mid-carder, but to deliver that top level within the mid-card and elevate it. Chelsea Green is very like that as well. She's in there. She can go main event if she has to. She can have chemistry with whoever she wants, but she can also add so much. Like you think about the job she's done over the last year before Piper got injured, you know, and the two girls and what they did and the whole Patriot thing and all that kind of stuff and all. She's done a phenomenal job. But when you call someone a workhorse, that's someone who's working all the shows, putting in the graft, putting people over, not necessarily caring about where your own trajectory is going. So I think in a kind of a way, he's kind of saying the similar things, but I think he's putting it across in a much better way that shines her in a very good light. I think she's absolutely excellent. And I think, and I say it all the time, you need these people on your roster and not everyone has to be a champion.
Yeah.
This is how this business works. She's phenomenal with a belt, without a belt, on screen, in a wheelchair, whether she's in a ring or backstage doing a segment. Like, she can handle all that stuff the exact same way Danhausen is being presented at the moment. Chelsea Green can be that person. There's no doubt about it. She's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I think...
And I wouldn't be surprised either in the next 6 months when she comes back that there'll be a lot going on potentially between her and Danhausen. I wouldn't be surprised at all. She's phenomenal.
That would be a dream. So that'd be comedy gold. I think when you look at what Michael Hayes said, as you said, I don't think he meant it in that way. And when you do take a step back, he was given a compliment. I think it was just more, as you said, the way he put it. And it's in no way an insult to be, you know, that kind of stepping stone to bring other women up to the top. And dare I say, up to Chelsea's level. Because let's be real here, mid-card or not, Chelsea is a top star within the company.
Well, think about it this way.
My opinion.
If you think about how many women wrestlers are in there at the moment across the roster, and you think about how many women wrestlers got mentioned in the Unreal Series, it's only a handful that got mentioned. If they're talking about you, it means you're very important to the company. Very important to the company. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? So I think I'm just not too sure. I know people jumped on at the time. And look, we know that Michael Hayes is one of those guys who, like, you know, shows up to Raw because he's in a DeLorean 88 miles an hour, hits the flux capacitor, and he comes back from 1985 and ends up at Raw on a Monday night. And that's just the way it is. He's just an old school guy who comes across sometimes the wrong way. You know what I mean? But if they're talking about you, you're doing something right. And if they're saying you're a workhorse, you're fundamental to the business, because if we don't have great workers and we don't have great wrestlers who are able to sell and put people over and do all that really, really good stuff, it's very hard to make fucking stars.
She
You
makes
know what I
everything
mean? It
better.
really is. Absolutely. The
Everything.
WWE is a much better place when Chelsea Green is involved. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
No doubt
100%.
about it.
I love kind of looking at titles and, thinking to myself, maybe not in the next few months, but definitely in the very near future, who the next or future champions could be. And Chelsea Green's one of the people that's on my radar for the women's title. 100%.
But I think what Niall is saying, it wouldn't matter if she did or didn't. She's still going to
Yeah.
be that
That-
star.
I
I think
completely agree.
I think
Or
I
without
think
a
she
title,
could be
to
I think she could be the gatekeeper. I think she could be the one to say, this is the one I'm gonna build next and prepare for the title.
Yeah.
She's living her best life. She has a custom built house. She's with Matt Cardona. The two of them are phenomenal together. You know what I mean? And they're doing unbelievable stuff at the moment. And she even said, I think a few weeks ago in an interview herself, she's not worried about titles or anything like that. The paycheck is amazing and she's making bank. And we can only be happy for her. And like she's at that stage now where she can turn around and go, right, if Julia's the next one I have to build, or if it's Roxanne Perez, or if it's Sol Rucker coming up, I'm going to be that girl to do it. And you need me so bad, you're going to pay me oceans of cash to do it. And I'm going to have a beautiful mansion down in Florida. So who cares? you know,
I
so
think
like
it shines through her work. You can really tell how happy she is and that she actually really is enjoying herself.
she
And
enjoys it so
that
bad.
says a
doesn't
lot
she?
for her.
Yeah.
It says a lot for her. As you said, it says, I don't need a title. It really does. And her happiness really does shine through, and I actually love it. I love Chelsea Green, full stop. I loved her in NXT. I was so upset when she left. And now that she's been back, I've loved it even more. She's one of my favourite women on the roster, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. No wonder why
She's
Dog
actually
left. He
such
was banging her head off a brick wall. Oh, imagine. Sean, I wanted you to come before we go on. We've about 2 or 3 slides still to go, and then a bit of history and stuff. But I wanted you to comment on Mercedes Moné the other day dropped her final independent title on this journey. The one thing I took out of this, and I'll get everyone's comment on it if you want. The one thing I took out of it, I know Bren now just wants to reach for a bread roll over this and all, but what I did want to say was that where I'm coming from is a lot of people, when they pick up these titles, and we know she's been the collector of belts and the CEO and all that kind of stuff, but what a lot of people would do in that case is they would go into those independents, let's call them independents for argument's sake, right? They would take the money because they can charge the wedge, they get the title, they carry the title around, it gets a bit of promotion on TV and all that kind of stuff. And then normally what they would do is vacate the belt and send the belt back. She has taken it upon herself to step out of the AEW bubble and go around to all these different promotions and drop the belt and potentially give the rub to the next person coming up in each of those promotions. And I think that's to be commended.
100%. Without a doubt. I think you hit the nail right in the head there. It's so hard to find a wrestler who actually wants to drop the title properly and isn't one of those people that just don't give a shit, that takes the title and takes the money and
Keep on going, Sean. Keep on going. Keep going. Brad, your head right now looks like the center plate of a belt. We could have the Bren Reed World Heavyweight Championship here right now. The new custom belt from WWE.
And Sasha Banks would still go for it.
But I actually, Bren's going to hate this comment. In a way, the past few weeks, I think Mercedes Moné has been a bit of a workhorse. And I say that for the fact that she's actually wanted to put the work in and drop the title properly. Not like other wrestlers would just kind of take the money, take the title and feck off. And as you said, that's to be commended. So it is. It really is. And her stepping away from AEW hasn't been the worst thing. It really hasn't. Yeah. And look, if it leaves her a lot bigger when she does come back to the company, hopefully at All In when we're there live. Bren? Bren is gonna.
I'll be there live. I'll be at All In live.
You won't be if she shows up.
I'll be there. I'll be
right
sitting up
the door.
I'm going to be sitting with Dave. Believe it or not. I'll be there. We'll see. We'll see.
That's a yes. But look, if that leaves her bigger when she gets back to AEW, then so be it. You never know. Maybe the independent scene, her time on it worked.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
I love the CEO. I do love the CEO, but I will always be a Sasha Banks fella.
Terrible
Yeah.
actress. Terrible actress. Look, now can I just come in just for a second, Noel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, what have you acted in?
Fair. I was going to say fair enough. Not where you think I was going with that. Look, you're dead right. It's good for people to do that, but she's just objectively terrible. Like, what's going to happen is she'll come back at All In. She'll do this. She'll be like, "Hey, I'm back." I don't care. A large section of the wrestling audience don't care. The machine isn't behind you anymore. And ever since the machine hasn't been behind you, you just haven't been as relevant. You haven't. You did your little debut in AEW. People are like, ooh, for about 10 seconds. And now every time you lose a belt, it comes up in the little wrestling news. That's the only reason I know. I don't click into it. And that's the only reason I know. And I look at it, I'm like, I don't care. I didn't care when she had the 9 belts. I don't care now that she has none. Look, I hope I'm wrong. Do you know what? I hope she comes back and gives me a barn burner. And I hope she takes the mic and I hope she absolutely smashes a promo out. But that's not going to happen. She's going to cut one of the worst promos in history. Forced, bad actress. And look, an okay wrestler, a good wrestler, but worked with a lot of great people that made her look a hell of a lot better than she deserves to. Sorry.
Is that not the same for most wrestlers?
You said a lot of things, but I didn't hear you talk about all the history she's created.
Well, that's because you're from Cavan and I probably need to speak a bit slower. Hello, Sean. I'm only messing.
Jeez, right. Let's touch on this quick anyway. Sean Mack.
How much did Fair City pay you to sit in the background and shut up?
€160. Go on.
There's nothing wrong in paying to sit at home. It's all good. Sean Matt Hardy talking this week about how the influence of the ladder match with Razor and Sean had on him. They said they had never seen anything like it, and of course, kind of didn't. Bar if you're old enough like me, you've seen it with Jake the Snake Roberts, but however, that was a long time ago. A long time ago. That was when it was a one straight ladder, and the referee used to hold it up. There you go. That's how far back I go, but there you go. Sean Mack, what do you think of this influence on the Hardy? Certainly, it left a lasting influence, I would think.
Their match is so influential. It's the only good match on that WrestleMania, if we're calling spade a spade. And to see how it's inspired not just that match, but many other people who like their bit of plunder and have used their ladders, I'm sure they'll definitely influence some of the people in that six-pack ladder match. We'll have to see, but no, that was a great match. They stand on the shoulders of giants. Shawn Michaels stuff Razor is doing. Shawn Michaels selling as the smaller guy really put that over the line. You can really see the influence they had on any, especially TLC 3, but really a lot of the ladder matches today, when it's big guys and guys that are smaller than them, you can really see how that match paved the way, because as you said, Niall, before that you had the Jake the Snake ladder match where the ladder was essentially just a bit of steel with some rugs on it.
And the ref held in the ring, yeah, it was a laugh. It was so funny.
To keep it upright. It's a good thing that's in the past. They stand on the shoulders of giants. What a great match that was, and what a great match TLC was. What a great legacy is left behind, still to be replicated, but never duplicated today.
Isn't it mad? We're just over a week out from WrestleMania 42, and the ladder match at Wrestle 10 is still the benchmark from where everything is compared to. Isn't it? It's insane, isn't it? Unbelievable. It is really incredible, the history of the business and stuff like that. So, and nice to talk about it, of course, coming into a Mania.
This is the only fourth IC ladder match in their history as well, which is mad, I think.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
Somebody's been doing WrestleMania videos on YouTube.
Speaking of
absolutely stolen.
Now to bring the tone either up or either down, pending on the chat. The streak, we had the anniversary of the streak going yesterday. We did God knows how many shorts on it. It was fantastic, guys. Well done. How do we feel about the streak this time on now, in terms of, Keith, we'll start with you, because you're probably the biggest Taker fan probably on the panel tonight. How do you feel looking at it on now and everything else that transpired?
I think it was a terrible decision by Vince. It's still to this day, 12 years on or something like that. Awful decision. I think it should have been, at the time, I was so pissed off when he lost that to Brock Lesnar. Now, look, in saying that, I had no problem losing to the streak, but it didn't benefit Brock Lesnar in the slightest, to be quite honest with you, ending that streak. To me, it should have went to Bray Wyatt or else even to Roman Reigns, one of those two. I would have been perfectly happy with. Look, I know Taker came out and said ages ago that he wanted this streak to be ended because it's his way of giving back to the company. But it's, to be honest with you, it didn't sit well with me, and it obviously didn't sit with a lot of other fans that are Taker fans as well. I just think there was no need to give it to Brock Lesnar. He's an established star at the time. He still is an established star. It didn't give him any credibility at all. I would have given it to Bray or to Roman because it would have elevated them a bit more in their wrestling career, to be honest.
Well, based on what we know through history, I don't think anyone was elevated out of the Undertaker Roman Reigns match. Just saying how it went down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the murder if it was Roman Reigns that did it at WrestleMania?
Well, not even that it's Roman Reigns. Just remember the match. The match was horrific.
Well, he was so broken down, wasn't he, Niall? Like Taker at that point, you know, that he couldn't put on the match anymore.
You know what they say: if you hang around long enough to become a villain, you know. Just saying.
They told Roman he was wrestling the Undertaker, and they told Undertaker they hid his keys somewhere around the ring.
Yeah. As a panel, here's a question for you. As a panel, are we all in agreement that it should have been broken or should have stayed intact?
I think it should have stayed intact.
Intact, 100%.
Yeah.
I would have been against being attacked, but the same, I wouldn't have been against it being broken either. If it was put to the right guy.
Like for me, the only connection, I know you call it hokey, Niall, but the only connection to the Undertaker's kind of character was Bray Wyatt, and that's why it made the most sense to me, because he was within that generation at the time, but he was connected to the Undertaker's kind of aura and kind of character, and that's why it would have made sense for Bray Wyatt. For me personally, I would have loved the streak to remain untouched. I would have. That's just preference. I get the counter argument, but I just would have loved it to remain as a 22-0 and leave it at that.
Yeah.
See,
I get the other argument though. I do.
Yeah, Taker didn't because he wanted to get back, you know.
I think it should have been broken because my view on the streak is different to other people, because I think a lot of it is just crap, to be honest. And I think it's just something that just rolled on from year to year. But I think if you dissect the streak down, is there 5 decent matches in it, maybe 6 decent matches in it?
Joey Gonzalez, Jimmy Snuka. Do we need to go on?
Match in particular was...
you 100% need to go on, and we will do that one day. Don't worry. But I don't think I could see why it was a big deal to this guy and the character and staying in character and all this kind of stuff that went on and all. But I just think, for me, I think the build up to CM Punk, I think, was electric. Again, he pushed the envelope and knocked it out of the park. If you remember the urn and the ashes and where he went into a really dark place, I thought would have been pretty cool. I thought Edge at 24 would have been ideal. I thought it would have been excellent. I thought if you had to pick any of those guys, kind of Edge, Randy Orton or Batista, any of those guys that were really beginning to hit their peak, and I think if you had to dropped it then, you would have sent them into superstardom, I think. You know what I mean? But then you see, then it kind of trottles along and you get, like, I mean, Shawn breaking it at 25, while it would have been a moment, history would have shown maybe it might have felt a bit like kind of Montreal or something like that, you know, just a bit weird. Because, like, you know, we got the retirement matches and then the Triple H matches and stuff like that as well. And it was going to, then they were pushing it along because they know that this guy was struggling. So they had to put him out there with kind of ring generals to deliver a match. I'm not saying he didn't have a part in it and stuff like that, but I just think, I don't know. I just think, for me, I've always had a weird connection to the streak and stuff like that. I thought most of it was just so hollow. I could pick out 5 matches, you know, and most of them are going to be built up between Shawn and Triple H. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? So, like, you're not going to have a bad match against a Shawn or a Triple H. Let's be honest here, you know. But I just think I don't know. I just think it was something that was fabricated that probably in the end just needed to go.
Was the
How
streak
it went.
broken when Brett? No, sorry, when he faced Bray Wyatt. Was that broken down? Or was it still intact? I can't remember.
It was broken because
Was it
that happened
broken?
at 30, and Wyatt was at
Yeah.
32, I think.
Yeah.
But I do think, to your point, Noel, and Keith, this is directed at you. We need to sit down and dissect the streak on a separate show. And we'll do it. We'll do it as a special. Sit down, dissect it, because you're pro Undertaker, and we do need to talk about those streak matches. Because do we remember the streak because of how much it was built by WWE, or do we remember because of the quality of the matches leading up to it being acknowledged as a streak? Let's have a chat about it. Not
Well,
now.
no, Bren, I think, to be honest with you, only got noticed when he beat Ric Flair back in WrestleMania 18. Because that's
There's a
when it was
golf there's a golf show coming up in the next half an hour. I don't even think we have time to discuss it, but I do think we should do a show on it in the next in the coming weeks.
or before
Yeah, we
Mania.
will. We'll have a look at it. When we get out of Mania season and the chaos of it and stuff like that. We'll definitely an A for me, Noel. You know I'm an Undertaker guy. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're an Undertaker guy, I get it. I'm not an Undertaker guy, and I these things to me just feel a little bit weird at times. I wanted to bring this slide up, obviously, because this is important to me. He's one of my all-time favourites. Was devastated when we lost him. His anniversary is tomorrow. So I wanted to mention it because we won't be on, but you're going to get blasted with Warrior content off me tomorrow, make no doubt about it. I did reshare an episode that I did on the 4 Podmen with Jonathan O'Dwyer down in Limerick and with Jay Kennedy, 2 guys I really hold in high regard. And it was one of my most difficult episodes that I did, but also one of my most rewarding episodes that I did. These 2 guys, Warrior meant an awful lot to them. He shaped both their lives heavily. And meant a huge amount to them. So I implore you to go watch the episode. It gets real emotional when they talk about this guy and his passing and everything. All 3 of us nearly came to tears about it and stuff like that. So have a look, see what you think and stuff like that. But, you know, always believe and always in our hearts. And rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior. You do not get forgotten. And you do run in the hearts and minds of people still to this day. Anytime I go looking for figures, I don't know how many Ultimate Warrior figures I have here, folks. I probably have them all. You know what I mean? It's just insane. Can we do something on this, guys? Yeah, we will. We'll 100%. We'll 100% do something on that Undertaker streak. There's no doubt about it, as Brent said. Anyone else want to add to Warrior or anything like that before tomorrow? There's no hassle. And then we'll get into a quick bit of history, and then I have to go on to another back-to-back podcast.
It's just a shame I never really got to see him back in his prime. Obviously, I saw him towards the end of his career in the mid 90s or something like that, late 90s, around that period.
Go on, sorry, I didn't mean to cut over.
No, yeah, no, it's just a shame I never really got to see him back in his prime, to be honest with you, because I would have loved to see it. But yeah, I got to see him when he faced the likes of Triple H and all at the end when he came back in '96. So it wasn't.
I'll give you an idea. He did a meet and greet in Manchester before he had gone back to WWE, and Jay went over and Jonathan went over. And if you listen to Jonathan's story on the episode of the podcast, it's an interesting story where Jonathan talks about how he wanted to be a wrestler, and then physically with ailments and stuff like that, he couldn't become a wrestler. It brought him to a very dark place in his life. And the Warrior videos and the inspiring and the motivational stuff is basically what brought him back from those dark days to keep him where he is and stuff like that. It's a real important story for anyone out there struggling as well at the moment. And he got to meet the Warrior in Manchester, and he told the Warrior the story about how much he meant to him. And he said the 2 of them kind of stood there. I think the story goes, the Warrior was taken back by what Jonathan was saying to him and how inspiring the Warrior was for him. The Warrior inspired him to start lifting weights and get better and challenge all these different things he was facing in his life and stuff like that. It's a fantastic story, guys. Check it out. But gets real emotional, and when we talk about his passing, the 2 boys really break down. It gets rough. But it's a great episode. It's one of my all-time favorites, I have to say. But it was a tough one as well because I'm a huge Warrior fan, I have to say. You know?
The Warrior was the foundation as the way we continued to watch wrestling. Hogan brought us in, and the Warrior, where I grew up, there used to be skates that you could buy, right? or robbed where I grew up. They were robbed and resold basically, and they were different color laces, and you take them out and you'd wrap them around your arm, and you were the
Oh, yeah.
warrior. And it was absolutely like, I used to like, and when that music hit, to this day I listen to the Warriors music. He's part of my gym jams. When I eventually go back to the gym and I stick it in, part of my gym jams is the Ultimate Warrior song, and that comes on. It's like, it's incredible. And you think of the Warrior, you think of his promos, you, you think of his matches, and back then it was magical. It was powerful. It took you somewhere else. And yeah, I'm so grateful to have grown up at a time where I got to witness the Warrior come in, become the Warrior, and all of that area. So look, I'll touch on it tomorrow in a video, and I'll leave it at that. But just phenomenal.
There's not a month goes by that I don't watch that match, WrestleMania 6. I used to have it on Hillary's brother recorded it on a VHS tape, with the sellotape back in the day. I wore that tape out. Just that. And even I'll go on YouTube every so often as well, and I look back to when he came in with the Honky Tonk Man and stuff like that and all, and it's just the music hits and people haven't got a clue. And this larger than life individual runs out from behind the curtain, runs all the way in there, and it was just insane. And I was so, at the time, I'm such a Honky Tonk fan as well, but I was so pissed at Honky on that IC thing because I was a huge Ricky the Dragon Steamboat fan, and Honky took the belt off Steamboat literally, I think, a couple of weeks after WrestleMania 3, and Steamboat had chased the IC title off Macho Man after the neck injury with the belt for fucking God knows how long. And when Ricky Dragon Steamboat got the IC belt, I was so happy. Another one who I loved the bits and all. And when Honky took the belt off him the way he did, I was so pissed at Honky. Yeah. So then when Warrior came out and gave it to Honky, I was about me seat. I was loving it, you know what I mean? So, and I love Honky Tonk as well. These all-time greats and characters and stuff like that. But yeah, I could talk about the Warrior all day. I just loved him to bits. It was incredible. Dan wants to know...
Gyms. It's a work in progress. At the moment, I'm donating to a gym.
Maybe he means his gym jams. Maybe he's going around in his pajamas in the house or something, running around like the Warrior. Maybe that's what it is. The Hulk Hogan documentary seems interesting. We shall see. We will be reviewing it. Don't worry. I was actually thinking, something? We could nearly watch that and do a watch along.
100%.
Yeah,
that would be very cool to do a watch along for that, just for the crack, just something different, just to get a reaction. Because there's probably going to be some gems that he drops in it, because this is his parting go. You know what I mean? And just who knows? Maybe the last 20 minutes is and he really drops it.
Is length, or do we know, is it going to be like a parter or a 4-parter, or?
It sounds like it's just going to be a one thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, sounds like.
Because I think they were saying, what is it? It's an hour and 40 or something like that. I read or something. So I assume it's just going to be straight out there. Sharon, if you're looking for it, just go onto the channel and search. Hit the search button there and just search Ultimate Warrior, and you'll see it's me, Jonathan, and Jay Kennedy. It's a 4-Podman episode that I did. I think it's called From the Vault. It's the Ultimate Warrior, and it's a personal journey or something, I think I called it. And it's basically, it's not necessarily about the Ultimate Warrior like a biop. It's about what the Ultimate Warrior meant to these two guys on their journey in life. And that's why it's kind of so cool. Because everyone knows the Ultimate Warrior story, but this was about it. They go in, they talk about the self-destruction, they talk about so much stuff. It's absolutely phenomenal and well worth a watch, I have to say. And not because I put it together, but the two boys on it were sensational. Niall, did you see there's a Netflix doc? Yeah, absolutely, we did, Dave. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might do a watch along for it. That'd be pretty cool to get the reaction. Yeah, Sharon, you'll really enjoy it. Like, you'll really enjoy it. Just don't be messaging me to tell me how much I've aged since then. I think that was during the pandemic. Right, let's do a bit of history. 2014, WrestleMania 30 was held in New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in front of over 75,000 fans. As we know, Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker, and the streak went, and all the stories that came out of that. I don't know if you remember the story about your man in the UK who withdrew all his life savings to put it on The Undertaker, and he put it on it, and he had to march up the stairs and explain to his missus why his life savings was gone. Because the Ultimate Warrior, because The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania. And I think he put something like 22 grand on to win 1,500 back. and he was trying to win the price of a holiday, and he put 22 grand on or something insane.
I was devastated,
hilarious.
and I've lost parlays, and it's shameful. But if you're putting that much on the Undertaker winning at Mania, I've no sympathy. Hope your
No,
heart's
we
best.
haven't done the cream soda yet, Dan. Dan came in with the Pepsi cream soda today, which I thought would get a mention. I forgot to bring the slide, actually, Dan. And we also had a Skellig's orange Easter egg that was made from actual bits of orange, which was absolutely sensational. Thought we'd raise the profile of the podcast through the food and the drink. Not too sure about the Pepsi cream soda, though. But there you go. Right, back to the history. 1986, WrestleMania 2 took place on Monday night in 3 different locations. Having said that, it's basically been on a Monday for us in this part of the world for God knows how long anyway. Each presenting the pay-per-view for an hour and watching the other 2 hours on big screens. A combined 40,000 fans watched the venues in the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont in Illinois, and the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. Unbelievable. To be able to do that in 1986 and telecast from 3 different locations. Absolutely insane. Can you imagine WWE trying to do that now? Near alone 1986. Groundbreaking. 2013, WrestleMania 29 was held in the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in front of 80,000 fans and just over 1 million homes tuned in on pay-per-view. Following a tombstone pile driver, The Undertaker defeated CM Punk to go 21-0 at WrestleMania. This would be the last win. This would be the last win of WrestleMania streak for the dead man. There we go. Triple H also defeated Brock Lesnar by pinfall in a no-holds-barred Triple H's career on the line match after a pedigree to Lesnar on the steel steps. And John Cena defeated The Rock via pinfall to win the WWE Championship. 2019, one that I was at, WrestleMania 35, took place at the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. 82,264 fans, plus me making it 265. The main event of the night saw the first women's main event match in WrestleMania history. And of course, we got Becky 2 belts, and the rest is history. And 2014, we mentioned it already, James Bryan Hellwig, better known as the Ultimate Warrior, passed away from a heart attack age 54, same age as myself, in Scottsdale, Arizona. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame and made an appearance at WrestleMania 30 over the preceding weekend and made his final public appearance on WWE Raw the night before his passing. And that whole thing and the documentary they did about it and all absolutely gives me chills to this day. The things that he said and the outcome of it and stuff like that was just, it was like he knew what was going to happen. It was insane. Notable birthdays, 1937, of course, the High Chief Peter Maivia. 1969, Darren Drozdov, who recently, I think, passed away in the last couple of years. Very, very sad. 1989, Bianca Belair. 1969, one of my favourites, Dustin Rhodes. 1954, just for you, Keith, one Paul Bearer. And we rounded out with 1925, the man that gave us Macho Man and Leaping Lanny Poffo, Angelo Poffo, 1925. That's your notable birthdays for this week. Let me take a few of the comments just to finish off. Where are we? Yeah, do absolutely watch it, folks. It's absolutely, I'm not just saying it, but well worth a watch. I need to watch it. You'll enjoy it, bro. I agree. Watch along. Bonkers. If you want to know, 2-0 Bayern Kane. No problem. Appreciate that. I won't get to watch much football tonight. We're on right after this show for a Masters podcast. Going to be bringing you a preview for the Masters starting this week. It's absolutely fabulous, that Pepsi cream soda.
It's disgraceful.
So is the strawberry and cream one. Absolutely gorgeous.
I'm eating a Rolo egg. Nice.
Cracker.
I'm eating a Rolo egg. Oh, Layla, I love Rolos. There you go. A little story, if you're one of these romantic guys. In Weir's Jewelers on the bottom of Grafton Street, they used to do a silver Rolo. And it was your last Rolo. Remember the story was you'd give your last Rolo to the one you love?
Oh, yeah.
No.
And I bought it one year for Christmas for Hillary. There you go. That's the romantic in me. They did these silver Rolos in a box and a little message in it saying you would give your last Rolo to the one you love. And that was the ad at the time and stuff. So there you go. Little sidekick there. There you go. The romantic in me. I wish I could share with you. I wish I could share it. There you go. Oh yeah, there you go, Layla. There you go. Just don't let the old man hear it. Don't let the old man hear it, Layla. It'll be hoovered up, I'd say. Right, folks, that's it. Another show in the bag. We've got one more show. We've got a couple of shorts and videos going out. Bren will have the SmackDown show going up on Saturday.
Women's
I've got a
Friday.
Masters preview right after this. I've got a watch along for PSG in Liverpool tomorrow night. I'll probably have something on Thursday with Darren, Thursday Tier Talk. Probably on Friday there'll be some sort of a watch along, no doubt. You'll get a preview for the Fulham game. You'll get a reaction to the Fulham game. I think Keith's going to give me a bit of football content this week as well.
Yeah.
Then next week on Tuesday, Pro Wrestling Weekly. Monday we'll have the Monday mashup back. Then Wednesday, I don't know if there's anything planned, and Thursday will probably be my lads podcast, and then I'm out of here. I'm off to Vegas, and I will be tuning into those watch-alongs, and I'll be on those screens. Don't worry, I'll be on those screens when everyone is telling everyone how great WWE is, and they pulled it out of the can again. And that's the way it goes. So we'll have a lot of fun on that as well. So I'm not sure about Saturday night if I get a ticket or not, but if I don't, I might have to dial in from the swimming pool in the hotel while I'm watching it on Netflix or something like that. Let's see. Netflix on the VPN, of course, they'll still think I'm in Europe. I hope SmackDown will be somewhat better than last week, Brad.
We'll chat about it, Sharon. Notification button, drop a like on the video, drop a like on the video. The most important thing to get us to grow, drop a like on the video. I don't want to go off this, find out we had 40 or 50 views and we have 3 likes. I will be really upset if that's the case. And I'll talk to you again in about 15 minutes. If golf isn't your interest, then catch you on the other side.